Krishnaprastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravane Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desetana. I asked Yadubara Prabhu to give the class. He said no. What can I do? Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, Chapter 1, Text 6 and 7. Text 6. I can't read so well, even with the glasses. Can't see. Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vananyaiva Swadhyo Yena Adbhuta Madhurima Kidrisho Va Madhya Saukyam Cha Asya Mad Anubhavataha Kidrisham Veti Lobhat Tad Bhava Adhya Samajani Sachigarbha Sindau Harinduhu. Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vananyaiva Ava Swadhyo Yena Adbhuta Madhurima Kidrisho Va Madhya Saukyam Chasya Madanubhavata Kidrisham Veti Lobhat Tadbhavadya Samajani Sachigarbha Sindau Harinduhu. Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vananyaiva Naiva Swadhyo Yena Adbhuta Madhurima Kidrisho Va Madhiyaha Saukyam Chasya Madanubhavataha Kidrisham Veti Lobhat Tadbhavayadya Samajau Sachigarbha Sindhu Harinduhu. Sri Radhaya of Srimati Radharani Pranaya Mahima, the greatness of love, Kidrisha, of what kind? Va or Anaya, by this one, Radha, Eva, alone, Aswadya, to be relished, Yena, by that love, Adbhuta Madhurima, the wonderful sweetness, Kidrisha, of what kind? Va, Madhya, of me, Saukyam, the happiness, Cha, and Asya, her, Mad Anubhavataha, from realization of my sweetness. Kidrisham, of what kind? Va, or, iti, thus, lobhat, from the desire, tat, her, bhavadyoha, richly endowed with emotions, samajani, took birth, Sachigarbha, of the womb of Srimati Sachidevi, Sindau, in the ocean, Hari, Lord Krishna, Indu, like the moon. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, the Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Sachidevi as the moon appeared from the ocean. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pracharine Rishise Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadadi Swapatantikam Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, this movement is the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this movement is being expanded by his most intimate and confidential servants, beginning with Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and so many acharyas have come in this disciplic succession. And in this movement, everyone is given a chance to participate. Who is willing to participate and how long they will go, that is everybody's business. You see? Just like in a class, Jai Shri Gauranga ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple ji ki Jai, SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple ki Jai. Just like in a class, the many students and who will study, how much and how far they will go, that is up to the students. So we should not think that whatever I do, I will reach the same conclusion or the end point. Not that there is an end point. Anandam Ambudhi Vardhanam, it's an ever-increasing ocean of bliss, the ocean of Krishna consciousness, the ocean of prema, but nevertheless, we should endeavor to constantly progress, isn't it? So, Sri Krishna has come to deliver us. That is the external reason. The internal reason is given here. And obviously the internal reason is more important than the external reason. At least we should take it like that. Just like you go to a shop, the shopwala is greeting you nicely because he wants your business. That's the external reason. The internal reason is that he has got some goal, he wants to make some amount of money, and he has got his own ideas. But Lord Krishna does everything perfectly, of course. Therefore, both externally and internally, the reasons are leading to wonderful pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that are recapitulated in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Isn't it? The pastimes of Srimati Radharani and Krishna are not to be misunderstood in terms of mundane pastimes. Rather, the mundane pastimes of males and females in so many species, be it the demigod, Kinnara, Kimpurusha, Yaksha, or human beings, Manusha, or even in other species and other lower planets, everywhere, to various degrees, this relationship is there, male-female relationship. And in some way, the souls of this creation are trying to pathetically recreate. Factually, everything is done by the external energy of the Lord, so we cannot even recreate those pastimes in our own way. But every soul is very contaminated by this mistaken idea that I can also enjoy like Krishna. You see? But Srila Prabhupada said, Lord Krishna is the potent and we are the potency. Ultimately, the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is the only enjoyer. So even the apparently great demigods, you see, they are also in illusion. Everything is taking place externally, but they are thinking they are the bodies, and in this way they are bewildered. Name vidhu suragana partha maharishim prabhavamscha. So if even the great sages and the demigods, they do not know what is the case of all the other conditioned souls, especially a fool like me, right? So I'm always lamenting. How is it that even after so many decades, I have no Krishna consciousness? Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is a very, very, very great thing, very subtle thing, sublime, and it is the nature of progress in the conditioned state that the only progress we can make is to understand more and more how we do not understand. If you are actually in the illusion of thinking, now I am knowing this, I am knowing that, now I can quote more slokas, now I become this and that, Haribo. So then we will be wasting our life. Right, Ramaprabhu? So, to make progress in Krishna consciousness requires intelligence. Isn't it? That is called Buddhi Yoga. And that Buddhi Yoga means for a long distance, we are trying to understand how I am not really interested in Krishna consciousness. Although I am making a show of being a devotee. That's what I am understanding more and more. So, I don't have anything wonderful to share here other than my own foolishness. But that's what it is. So, I was saying that the pastimes of Srimati Radha, Rani and Krishna are very sublime. It is beyond the capacities of anybody, even in the spiritual world, what to speak of material world, to understand. See? It is a very sublime love that we cannot even conceive of. It's like, not that, I'm not even qualified to speak about those things. What do I know? Nothing. Nothing. It's an animal. So, I have no illusion that I can understand Krishna because Krishna is identical. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is identical to Krishna, and only thing is his mood is in the mood of Srimati Radharani. How can I understand? Not possible. If even the demigods don't understand, and the great sages don't understand. It is just like, some boy and girl meet, and the very first second they actually get some attraction. And let's assume that that instant is frozen forever in their relationship. That's where it stays. How pure will be that relationship? You can imagine. So, Srila Prabhupada said that the pastimes of Srimati Radha and Krishna are untinged by any mundane qualities. It is said that once Srimati Radharani was saying, so when we say these things, we should not think in terms of mundane man-woman relationships. What Srimati Radharani said, that men can never understand the woman's mind. Of course, they are the ultimate original, male and female. And Krishna said, no, I can understand. He said, no, you cannot. How you can do that? No. Krishna smiled. And then Srimati Radharani came and said, last night I had a dream. And of course it's not a dream like we have or something like that, so we shouldn't misunderstand. And there I saw a man. And my mind was completely attracted to him. Therefore, I knew this must be you. But it looked very different. So I went very close and I saw. And then I saw it was me. She said, what is this form of yours? So, and Krishna is said to have smiled, and he said that it is in this expansion or avatar that I can actually understand your mind fully. So that is here, that desiring to understand the glory of Sri Radharani, Srimati Radharani's love. In other words, trying to understand Srimati Radharani's mind is nothing other than understanding Krishna, because her mind, which is transcendental, is 24/7 absorbed in Krishna. Therefore, by trying to understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one can understand Krishna perfectly. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come for that purpose, that is his avatar Mahima, the greatness of his descent. That he has come for his own purposes. But it is in that process, he is also distributing Krishna Prema without discrimination. Krishna Prema Pradayate. Pradayate means just giving without any qualifications. Everybody come, take. He is giving. Because his Krishna Prema is unlimited. That does not mean that we directly study Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is considered as the doctoral program. Prabhupada said, Bhagavad-gita is bachelor's, Srimad Bhagavatam is master's, and Chaitanya Charitamrita is PhD, graduate program. I remember when we were in college, school, or whatever it is, that's in the late 50s and early 60s, a long time ago. In those days, India had no facilities, isn't it? And the American colleges were very famous even then, amongst bright boys. MIT, like that, Harvard. And in those days, if you actually write to them, they will send you a free catalog. I mean, that catalog used to be about this itna thick mota hoga, with nice pictures and printed in fantastic paper, and so nice. And when it comes, and it will come in a nice envelope, and with a label typed in electric typewriter, it will be there. And so if you write to any university, just put a postcard, they'll send you. Of course, it must have been part of their plan to outreach or publicize, whatever it is. This is big thing. One thing will come by airmail, not by sea mail. So they had a lot of money. And if you open that, you will see so many activities taking place in that campus. They will say, Harvard Sailing Club, and it will be, we have 150-year competition with MIT or some. So many activities, debating club, this, that. And you may feel like, wow, if I join MIT or Harvard, then I can be doing all these activities. But we should not forget that we have not joined. All we got is a catalog in the mail, that's all. And of course, it is possible to now talk about various things in MIT because you read the official, whatever it's called, brochure. This doesn't mean you know any of those things. So I am that kind of a person who got an official catalog from Golok Vrindavan, isn't it? Srila Prabhupada's books. And we read, and we may read about so many pastimes, but that doesn't mean that now I know these things, I can go and speak. You could say a few things to others, they may even be impressed. But we should never forget that we have got only the catalogue and we have a long way to go before we can be considered we have joined the institution. Are you following? You? One behind. No, yes, you. Are you following? Class? So, Krishna is the soul of the universe, soul of everything, Vishwatman. And as such, he can know everything, but he cannot be known. This is Krishna's position. Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gita that I know everybody, but no one knows me. You see? Just like, you see? Anyway. Therefore, we should not take this as some simple thing that I know Krishna now. Sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sarvam. Yeah, we can say all of that. But it's only when you completely come to know that he is unknowable that you surrender. Otherwise, why should we surrender? If I have some ability on my own to understand Krishna, it's not possible. You see? So, Krishna can still reveal himself, that is his mystical power, opulence. And we must get this somehow desire, the Bhakti Lata Bij, internally. The Supreme Lord is unknowable. On top of it, I don't want to know him either. I am just a conditioned soul who is always thinking, what is it that I can get out of anything I do? This is my nature for untold millions of lifetimes. So how can I change? These are beginning appropriate feelings one should have. And such feelings are non-different from any sublime pastimes in which you may think you can become a part of. Rasa Leela dance. Because our hearts must be pure, we should know our position. Then we can attract Lord Chaitanya's mercy. But generally people are interested in material benefits, even when we come to Krishna consciousness. At best, people are interested in liberation, which means cessation of material suffering. But our knowledge is always contaminated by these desires. So it is only by constant endeavor, constant association with pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, and constant inner evaluation, and by service. Service means tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Tivra bhakti. Tivra bhakti means so intense that there is nothing else in life. We are far away from that. Then maybe we can become Krishna conscious. So it is not that we should immediately expect to be able to discuss Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. He distributed dahi and shivda here, or he did that, he did this, that. That's all right. But basic philosophy should be known. Should be known. It is the nature of the spirit that it is unknown and unknowable. You see? Just like the eye can see everything but it cannot see itself. Similarly, the consciousness is the means by which you perceive everything, but you cannot perceive consciousness itself. You follow? You perceive everything. Consciousness is a means, and consciousness is a symptom of soul. But the consciousness itself, you cannot see. So consciousness can only be reflected in other things. When it is reflected in the body, we think I'm the body because of false ego. Reflected in the mind, you identify with thoughts, desires, feelings. Then you identify, when it's reflected in the Brahman, then you think that I'm everything. Aham Brahmasmi. And when it is reflected in service from Krishna, then you can know who you are. There is no other way. There is no way to self-realization than Krishna Bhakti. Krishna Bhakti. So if you want to know, otherwise it's only a negative description of the soul. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. Like that, negative. Even Krishna is saying, soul is not like this, soul is not like this. But what is the soul? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the definition. Jivera swarupa nitya Krishna das. And Nitya Krishna das. So, Jiva Swarup, real nature of the Jiva, it is not revealed by its interaction with anything and everything. But when he interacts with Krishna in devotional service properly, then he can know his eternal position. I'm a servant of Krishna. Because Mamai Vamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. I am an Amsa of Krishna. You see, it is very, very difficult to understand this point that my hand is my servant. But it is. So we are all parts and parcels of Krishna. So it's a very, how can my hand know me? But Krishna is so great that if you serve him, he can reveal himself to you. He can reveal himself to the part. Even though he is the whole, he can actually be in the, reveal himself to the part. The part is included in him, but he can reveal. Just like Mother Yasoda, she asked Krishna, did you eat sand? Krishna said, no. And then she opened his mouth forcibly, and then we all know that she saw the entire creation, and she saw also the planet Earth, and there she also saw her own house, and there she also saw Krishna, and she saw herself looking into Krishna's mouth. That also she saw. So Krishna's pastimes are extraordinary. And Krishna has the same loving relation with everybody. There is no difference whether you are a soul who has taken a cockroach body, or whether you have taken the soul of a human body. The soul has become a Rakshasa, or, Kimpurusha or Deva. It doesn't matter to Krishna. Are you merged? With all soul, samoham sarvabhuteshu, he is having loving transaction. But those loving transactions are reflected differently according to the nature of your own love. So when somebody loves only Krishna's energy, that too is material energy, and that too to dominate it, then you are in this world. Krishna is in everything. So it is out of extreme love that Krishna interacts with everybody. His swarupa is love. But we don't understand that so many people are suffering in this world. Isn't it? How it can be love? So you should understand slowly, slowly. Just like, I used to give the example. In America there's something called Halloween. And I'm sure it has come in India also. Has it come? Halloween day? Probably not. So it's some ghostly day. And on that day they release all horror movies. And the father will take the child to the horror movie, and the child will cry, "Wow, no, don't do this, that." The whole movie is shrieking, crying, and he's very much shocked. Then finally, when they come out, father will ask the child, "Did you like?" The child will say, "Yeah, I liked it." It's a loving exchange, the child. So like that, although the soul may claim that he is suffering, if Krishna asked him, "Did you like?" he will say, "Yeah, I liked it." Very vichitra. So neither underestimate Krishna's love nor overestimate our desire to be independent. So one has to be exceptionally fortunate to get this message. What is the actual message? One must know that there is no way I can know myself unless I actually relate to Krishna. Otherwise I am in ignorance. And you may think I am a great scholar. You may think I know this, I know that, I am progressing. But you are in illusion. Well, at least I am in illusion. That's what I am realizing. That's what I mean by saying with every passing day I am seeing I am very far away from real Krishna consciousness. But that is quite fine, because that is the way you can make progress. Just like when you are cleaning a room, if you keep on thinking the room is clean, how you will clean? You should know where the dirt is and remove, then cleanliness is automatically coming. But that is since that kind of a thing comes out of grey, we'll have to do service unlimitedly. Anyway, in order to actually even understand this process, you have to understand what is Krishna consciousness in the temple. What is this process? We should understand. If you don't understand, it's very difficult to make progress. But who wants to make progress? Everybody wants to be happy. You see? So, according to yayata mam prabhatyante tam sasaiva bhajamyaham, according to how people reciprocate with him, he has created this creation so many parts. But within this extreme dark universe, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come and he has given an extraordinary gift. We should not mistake this gift for, solving our material problems. Yesterday I was at some place, the doctor's secretary was there. I told her to chant Hare Krishna and she wrote it down. Sincerely said, "Okay, I'll chant." And then she said, "Will I get mental peace?" Shanti milega kya? No. This is far greater than our mental peace. You see? So, this process what Lord Chaitanya has given, we should not mistake it for material. It's one of the offenses, isn't it? The 10 offenses, that to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to be one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive antiquities. Next. No, not next. Let's repeat this again. Very important. Right? To consider the chanting. No, it is not for me. So, we are not just talking just like that. It is there. It's one of the offenses. So people might think like, why don't you speak about Lord Chaitanya? Why are you talking about this? No, it is actually very much part of Lord Chaitanya's presentation, because it is one of the offenses we have to avoid. So nor should we think that it is meant for giving liberation, nor should we think that it is actually meant for going to spiritual planets, nor should we think it is even meant for ultimately going to Goloka. Nor should we even think that this is actually meant for serving Krishna purely. What is it then? I'm serving because it is my nature. There's nothing else I can do. Why are you serving me? Krishna says. I don't know what else to do. What should I do? Oh, that is pure bhakti. You see? Just like Maharaj Bali, he was actually, he gave promise of 3 feet of land, 3 footsteps. And then Krishna became, from Vamana, he became Trivikrama. And with 1 step, he measured everything on earth. And the 2nd step, he measured everything in the sky. You see? Because when you buy a land, the sky above the land is also yours. Correct? That's why you are building 1 story, 2 story, 3 story. Nobody can say, no, this land is your only thing. How you call? So along with land comes space also. So Trivikrama, he didn't want any problems, so he took all the land with 1 step, and he took with the 2nd step, he took all the space too. And he asked Bali, what should I do with the 3rd step? Of course, Bali Maharaj is so intelligent because he is Buddhiman. He has performed Buddhi Yoga. He is a devotee. So he said, well, you can put your lotus feet here. So at the end of it, the Lord was very pleased with Bali. And he said, now you ask for any benediction you want, because I am very satisfied with you. Bali said, but I thought you are the one who was asking me. So he said, if you want more, you can ask. That is not possible for everybody. This is called pure bhakti. In pure bhakti, he's saying, I thought you asked me for 3 feet. I gave you. और कुछ चाहिए तो please ask. I have nothing. So we must actually come to the stage where if somebody says, why are you performing Krishna consciousness, we should say, what else can I do? Because it has become my nature. That is actually the position of the gopis, because no matter what Krishna gave them in return, they used it also for Krishna's service. They never wanted anything. Such that Krishna was ultimately defeated. And he said, you must be satisfied with your own service. There is nothing I can give because I have given everything. And you are still not taking it, you are only serving. You are very high points. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's nature is eternal service of Krishna. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam. So, a very great thing. So I cannot claim that I understand. But we must be very, very careful. And we should know that our first job, having gotten the catalogue, is to at least pass BSc or MSc. Then we can apply, they'll send an application, we fill it up, then you can get a visa, you get a passport, then buy a ticket, then you can go to MIT. So it's like that. Okay. I have blabbered enough. Any questions or comments? Time ho gaya, right? Brajagari Prabhu. Oh, yes.
In beginning of class you said
Anji.
the teacher will teach, but the students, they understand differently according to. It can also be the teacher understand differently. There are many teacher, same subject matter, one can explain one way, other can explain other way.
Of course, of course.
So, this is of course on material platform, but in a spiritual platform, if everyone is pure devotee, like Sat Goswami, so this subject matter is transcendental. So transcendental subject matter can be understood only on transcendental platform.
Correct.
So if everybody is like pure 100%, I'm not talking 10%, so you understand 10%, 20, everybody 100. So in that case, everybody can understand same thing, right?
In the spiritual world, you mean?
Spiritual world or even here, pure devotee like Sat Goswami.
What is the question? I mean, you said nicely that even amongst different pure devotees, they can present it differently, isn't it? You are saying that?
No. That I said in material, school or college, this thing. But on a spiritual platform or transcendental platform, the pure devotee who is 100% pure.
Give 100%, right?
Yes. So when he is speaking, people who are hearing, they are also 100%. So they can understand same thing or they will also understand differently.
Oh, so his question is that you were saying in the beginning of the class that the teacher is teaching and it is up to the students how far they go. The different students may go different. And he said that's in the material situation, it's true. But spiritually, the teacher is teaching perfectly. And, all the people who are hearing is also hearing perfectly. Correct? And then in that case, is the transmission of knowledge the same and perfect. But actually, there is variety, even there. And of course, what he's saying is right and spiritual, but there also variety is there. Just like if you ask two expert cooks to cook bindi sabji, same bindi masala, or khichdi, standard khichdi, how they will cook there, this khichdi cannot be changed. It's the same thing, moong dal, rice, haldi, salt, like that. But they will prepare, there will be difference. Oh, he prepared like this, he prepared. So that difference is there. That is the variety, is the spice of life. Is that what you are saying? Hold on. Or am I missing the point?
Yeah, I was saying that suppose if, I'm not talking, if somebody may be Santaras, Dasaras, Vasalya, Madhurya, so I can understand, they understand differently.
No, even in Gopi Bhav, if everybody is in Gopi Bhav, it's the same Bhav, still it will be different. And the same person is speaking, it will be there, because they are different. They are completely different. That is why it is said that when Krishna does one activity, there are millions and billions and trillions and billions and trillions and billions and millions and trillions and billions and trillions of gopis. And every one of them is understanding differently what Krishna did. It is different. And every one of them will be right. That's how great Krishna is. Yesterday when I was coming from evening, I had gone somewhere, we're coming in the evening, 8 o'clock, and all the roads were all bright with lights in Juhu, so many shops, so many restaurants, so many shops, and everywhere is full of people, everybody is going and everybody seems to be very enjoying, spending money and this and that. I was watching that and I was thinking, I have no concept what is Goloka. Because in Goloka, these kind of happenings, things are happening in billions and trillions of better times. I mean, unlimited times. It's not that in Goloka everybody is keeping quiet and they don't know how to enjoy. There is parties going on in every corner and Krishna is present in every place. And everybody is thinking Krishna is only with me. Like in Ras Leela, he was dancing with all the gopis, but every gopi thought Krishna is only dancing with me. I'm so fortunate. So I have no idea what is Goloka. And Prabhupada writes in that verse, Natat bhashayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yadgatva nivartande tad dhamma paramam mama. Prabhupada writes in the first line of the purport that one should be attracted to go to this place upon hearing this verse. Just like somebody says, oh, they have started a new restaurant. Do you know in the Juhu, that place, and it's so nice and this and this and that. And you say, I'm going to go. And if you don't even feel like that, what does it mean? So whether I have even gotten the desire to go to Goloka because it's so great. So when I saw that, I was just remembering that. So yes, different devotees will have different things, the same message. Same message. If in the spiritual world there is a Bhagavatam class only for gopis, still everybody will get it differently. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Anavan. Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare
हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
जब बलि महाराज की सेवा से वामन देव प्रसन्न हुए तो उन्होंने उनको पाताल लोक दिया और इतना ही नहीं तो उनके द्वारपाल बने और आगे चल के यमदूतिया के दिन लक्ष्मी जी गए और उनको राखी बंधाई और उनका पूजा किया भैया के जैसे, तो उन्होंने उत्तराई के रूप में वामन भगवान को वापस कर दिए। हरे कृष्ण।
Correct. That is also there. That later, the Lord said, don't worry, I had to do this for Indra, as related to me. So I just took everything away from you because this belonged to those people, devas. But for you, I have made another wonderful place on the planet, and I will be your gatekeeper there. This is the Lord. Reciprocation. Yes, very correct. Any other questions or comments? Otherwise we'll stop. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, adding to the answer to what you gave, you may correct me if I am wrong. There would be variegatedness of understanding in the spiritual, in the Golok Vrindavan also, but there won't be any misunderstanding. Is it correct? Whatever explanation, a Bhagavatam class or whatever that has been explained there in Goloka, but there won't be any misunderstanding between the sender or the speaker and the listener.
Why you are saying this because you know this?
Here what happens?
No. You are saying this because you know that, or you think so?
No, this is my question. And is it correct? That's
it's wrong. That's why I asked you.
So there could be a misunderstanding there also.
Not there. There will be even fights.
Okay.
One gopi is fighting with another gopi. Why it is like this? But that is very loving fight. There's no pulling down. There's no pulling down. Yes, one gopi could tell another, if you go to that group, then don't come and join with me. So Prabhupada said, don't think it's some utopia, spiritual life. Everything that's here is from there only, but these are all tamagun fights. Those are transcendent. I mean, I just put it like that just to shock you so that you will pay some attention. No, we cannot extrapolate. Do not think that any particular emotion is not there in the spiritual world. Everything is there. Whereas I read in Prabhupada was in a plane in the early days, and in the plane there was actually a Charlie Chaplin movie going on. And Prabhupada didn't have the thing, and he was watching that. And Charlie Chaplin is on a slapstick comedy, so you really don't need the headsets. And Prabhupada was watching that and smiling. And they were very surprised. Why would Prabhupada see? So somebody asked him, Prabhupada, why are you seeing this movie and smiling? And he asked him, do you think there is no humor in spiritual world? It's all there. They can see that reflection. And he may be remembering, it's my speculation, which has no value, just I'm putting some, it has got zero value. Could be remembering also this, that somebody else who did this in the spiritual world, and he may be smiling. What do we know? But whereas if I see a movie, I'm absorbed in the movie. I enjoy it for its own sake.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. I'll repeat the question anyway. Yes. No, I didn't say that. But go on, assuming I said that. Yeah.
तो हम वो मतलब पढ़ के उतना थोड़ा समझ में आ जाता है।
क्वेश्चन क्या है?
हाँ, तो जब हम वो साधना करते हैं तो मोस्टली हम सोचते कि आज से मैं जो भी करूँगा भगवान से कनेक्ट करके करूँगा, लेकिन वो होता मतलब मोस्टली तो हम इतना अननोन डिजायर रहता है कि हमको भी रियलाइज नहीं रहता कि हम उसके लिए कर रहे हैं, लेकिन भगवान से कनेक्ट नहीं कर पाते अनअवेयरली।
He was saying that you said that whatever we do service, we should do it in the mood that this is, I can do only this is my nature.
हाँ,
I didn't say that. I said you must come to that platform. You didn't hear properly. That will take untold billions and trillions of lives. But we can do that in this life. Try to understand that. Lord Chaitanya means only one chance. In the material world, to go back to spiritual world, the only chance is Lord Chaitanya. Otherwise we have to just simply go here. We can also be great devotees, we can be big devotees, but not pure devotee. So you didn't understand. I said this is the result. And you said I'm doing sadhana like this. What you are doing is not sadhana. Okay, beginning of sadhana. Don't assume things.
I was asking, how can we...
You cannot. Just hear, that's all. You cannot simply say, oh, okay, now what is nonsense? How can we? You have just started and suddenly, how can we? We are talking about Lord Chaitanya and you are saying, how can we? No. I made some mistake. He's going to point it out.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. I want to understand more. You gave one example of a catalog coming from the university. And we just see the activities of the events of the college. And we feel that, many times we feel that as if I have joined in Goloka. So there is one pastime which comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, but that a Brahmana is preparing a sweet rice mentally. How can I understand that pastime more in this connection?
Means, he's so high. I'm not in that platform. But we can also offer mentally, there's no contradiction. We must think like that, that's all. But that doesn't mean we are not in Goloka. This is not catalog business. This is real. That is also true. I'm just saying one thing that is appropriate mood for me. But we are in Goloka. This temple is transcendental. You're already admitted. So what's the problem? Both are there.
So when we read scriptures and see the emotions, read the emotions of gopis, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mood, if we feel the same sometimes, not all the time, sometimes if you feel so, if you get some such dreams, so that is also considered as transcendental. Am I right?
Once you come to Krishna, everything is transcendental, but we don't know it, that's all. We should realize. You see, just like somebody was tied to a pillar with a rope and he couldn't move. So after some time he got used to it, that's the limit. And he doesn't go beyond that because he knows the rope will stop him. And if somebody cut the rope, he's still staying within that limit. So when you take to Krishna consciousness, it's all true. One gets a spiritual body, one is liberated. If you want, you can meditate on that. Or you can meditate that I got the catalog and I'm yet to go. Choice is yours.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, both is good. I have emphasized one point. But you want to emphasize, that's all, of course. Srila Prabhupada ki, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna.